Okay, we're live. Go.
We are live. Good evening. My name is Miss Yankee, and welcome to a very special edition of Mind Over Matter. I'm excited. This is easily, hands down, one of the best lineups that Mind Over Matter has had. Never mind since being online, just ever in the years that we've been doing this. We're going to be introducing 12 young creatives from London, from Birmingham, and as far as New York City tonight. So without further ado, because I know we started a little late, we are going to open the show with a South London poet who has made quite a big impression. She's really passionate about slam poetry. She's tenacious, she's focused, and just one of the politest young poets I've had the pleasure of dealing with of recent times. Not only that, she's a fellow Brit School alumni and just incredibly talented. So please lend your ears to the words of Dialectic D.
Ooh. Thank you for such a lovely introduction. That was thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm really honored to be here right now. There's so many amazing poets, as you said, on the lineup. So thank you for having me. So the poem that I'm gonna do for you today is, I think it's one of my favorite pieces that I've written, and it's called Jenga. So I really hope you guys enjoy. Okay. Jenga is a game in which players take turns to remove one block at a time from a pre-constructed tower made up of many wooden blocks. The foundations are always rocky. Nothing is ever quite set in stone. In the care system, kids are constantly being moved around, shifted, removed from unstable homes. Sometimes a block slots perfectly into place. Other times the whole tower collapses, all because the wrong move was made. In the care system, there are too many blocks stacked on top of each other. So each case is seen as just another number, a statistic. The system doesn't care about eroding bridges, disintegrating relationships that crumble into rubble, into nothingness. Sometimes I feel guilty that me and my siblings share similarities, but our realities are nowhere near the same. My siblings were fostered whilst I was adopted, so their experiences was nowhere near as colourful as mine, assembled from different building blocks. They were more like Jenga. I was more like Lego. In my mum's eyes, I was the missing piece in which would complete her masterpiece. So I never really felt as if a part of me was missing. I've always been a part of a bigger picture. Grown up in a household where I've always had siblings, but I was always curious as to how different our lives would have been if our worlds collided, if we all grew up in the same toy box, if Jenga was made to interlock like Lego was. But the material shapes and dimensions just didn't add up. So me and my siblings, we shifted apart, lived in two separate houses on opposite sides of London. But nothing is out of reach. Everything is within close proximity in the city. I'm waiting on the platform. The train has been delayed for a while now, but nonetheless, I'm ready to board it, to set out on this journey. As I go to get off at my stop, the door opens. 3 seconds later, it shuts. And just like that, it's gone. A fleeting, passing moment. I'm still learning to understand that the relationship after the reunion is short-lived and rarely a pretty one. And whilst the foundations are rocky, nothing is ever quite set in stone. I saw my brother on the train this weekend. Our conversation was awkward, fragmented. We tiptoed around what to say to each other, trying our best to be mindful of the gap, only to part ways at Warren Street. But I will not allow this tiny moment to stop me from shifting the narrative of our story. Instead, I will become an architect, find a way to make a mosaic out of this mess, break apart the bricks, line the Lego with wood, take what is broken and turn it into something beautiful, into something new. Thank you.
Pew, 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 pew. Pew, pew, pew.
Every time I hear that piece, there's just another bit of gold that just comes from it. It's so beautifully crafted. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much.
No, you're welcome. I wanted to get some quick thoughts from you on just lockdown and what it's been like creating and writing and performing in this kind of new online world for you.
Yeah. Wow, that's a big question. I can't even lie. So I'm not gonna lie. At the beginning of lockdown, I was doing a lot of workshops. I was doing like a lot of writing. I was doing a lot of online workshops, mainly with a poet called Debris Stevenson, who was like basically doing free workshops on Instagram Live. So every morning I would just join her workshops. And that was really nice because I feel like the kind of space that she creates, it's not very judgmental. Like, it's very free. Like, she just allows us to write and kind of, the idea is to make us write quick bursts of writing so that we're not overthinking what we're writing. Because naturally in workshops,
sounds like my kind of facilitator. Yes.
Yeah, because naturally as writers, we overthink everything that we write. I know I do, and I'm very judgmental. So I really enjoyed her workshops. But when she kind of stopped doing them, I haven't done that much writing since. I've mainly been doing a lot of Instagram lives, which has been amazing. Like, I've managed to get on lives with like loads of poets all over the world. I've managed to get on a live with Justine Skye, who's like a really famous singer. So that was like incredible for me in terms of exposure and just being on a different platform. And yeah, Instagram's like my best friend always. So I love using social media to navigate like poetry because, you know, a lot of the poets that I respect and look up to, like Sully Breaks and George the Poet and Sophia Fakor, like a lot of them utilize their social media platforms. So I feel like that's the best way to grow. Right? Yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's the best way to grow as a writer in terms of spoken word. Because I discovered it on YouTube. So I understand the power and importance of kind of digital platforms, if that makes sense.
So I would say, thank you for your insight. And for those young people or anyone that's watching, if you haven't been to a workshop online, get to a workshop online. Follow us at Mind Over Matter LDN. We are running regular workshops every week with our resident psychotherapist, Anna Sinsky. Poetry Prescribed will be coming back. I know Poetic Unity have got stuff going on. There's a lot happening online to engage and write. So do that. Thank you again to Dialectic D.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. We're going to continue with our evening. The next poet we've got has been a regular at Mind Over Matter for as long as I can remember. I don't remember him not joining us on the open mic stage, and he would travel an hour and a half from out of town sometimes just to hit that mic and share with us and impress us every time. He studied poetry at university. One of his lecturers at one point, I believe, was Benjamin Zephaniah, and he's they are just a great talent. So please welcome a poet person to the stage.
That's mad. That's okay. First up, just straight up going in with, oh yeah, no, Benjamin Zephaniah has like lectured this guy. Mad. You can't do that to me. That's not fair. Although, and Deanna Roger, to be fair, who is a fucking incredible poet. But it's amazing to be here. First of all, I want to like big up Dialectic D. He's mad following her on because like shit. The whole lineup tonight is absolutely wild. I feel so humbled to be a part of it, and I feel so like welcomed. It's beautiful. But yeah, so I guess I get into my poem because I know I ramble. So I'm just gonna get into it, get amongst it. This poem is called Men Afraid. Oh, trigger warning, there are some references to being misgendered, so if that's gonna like turn you off, feel free to turn the sound off. Do not click off stream because there's some absolute fire coming later, but like stick around. It's called Men Afraid. People will find our remains, call us friends. Friends who shared a grave, a life, a house, 2 friends reclusive, 2 friends unmarried with no interest in love. To friends sexed by history, by men in stuffy rooms, stuffy homes, men afraid of what's outside their box, men with unhappy wives, unsatisfactory lives, men afraid of what love can be, love should be for others. Love you. They won't know that I loved you, lived you, all of you. There are men afraid always, but we are growing, finding pockets of ourselves, people who will scrawl in the margins of their history books, their own interpretations, their own selves' truth. They will know that we are not what these men afraid call us, what men short-sighted, straight cis aligned call us, what men who don't understand the scope of our love call us. We are not for your consumption, but that does not mean that we do not exist. And just because we are plastered on your walls, on your screens, does not mean that we are yours, that our love is yours to eat, spit back, to feel bad for after guilt. We are not your experiment, not your fetish, not your slate to be wiped clean. We are not yours, not yours, not yours, not yours to judge, not yours to debate our existence over. We are not your option to play devil's advocate when so many devil's advocates are the devils that they worship. We should not have to argue our existence to you, should not have to prove who we love, who we are, what makes us us. And most importantly of all, we should not ever have to be what men afraid call us. Thank you.
Pew, 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 pew. Pew, pew.
The only thing I didn't
You're muted.
hear me now? Can I be heard? Hello? I
Yeah.
said the only thing that I didn't like about that piece was the disclaimer. Because
I like to put trigger warnings in because I've been like
no, it's important, but
yeah, it's I've been
poetry like
massively.
this needs to be heard, and people need to be free to speak their truths, and that's what I love about every time you come on the stage. I've seen you put yourself so far out of your comfort zone for poetry and for the people, and I really respect that about what you do. Give me your lockdown tip for the people.
Oh, my lockdown tip is reach out to people. There's a ton of people who want to hear from you. I've reached out to a ton of people I wouldn't necessarily talk to because of like anxiety and shit. But like there are people on Instagram I've been following for ages that just hit them up and be like, yo, I love your stuff. What's going on? You want to hang out when this is all over? And also the other thing as well is like go to events if you can. Like Jolie Licks on Insta also runs amazing workshops. So get amongst that. Obviously the Mind Over Matter stuff is amazing, but also don't push yourself. Like don't pressure yourself. This is hard on everyone. Just be kind. Like be kind as you can to yourself and everyone else.
Good advice. Thank you very much. I hope you're going to stay with us and enjoy the rest of the lineup.
I'm gonna stay here and be loud.
Awesome. Thanks again. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. So we continue. Our next young creative, I have had the pleasure of working with a number of times. He's a member of a collective that I'm a part of called the Flow Poets. Such a talented writer to the point that ordinarily we do a radio show live on Soho Radio called The Word every week, and YA Poet, who I co-host with, would open the show with his poetry every week if I let her, but unfortunately it's not fair on rotation. He's award-winning, award-nominated, the ingenious Asante. Please give him a round of applause.
Hey.
If that was an intro, hey, I'm not gonna. Can you guys hear me? See me? Awesome. All right. Yeah. Thank you, Miss NK. I appreciate it. Just want to say thank you to everyone. You guys are an amazing lineup to be here with. Honestly, thank you, Mind Over Matter. All these thank yous. Yes, I do appreciate you. So this piece is called Superiority Complex. My favorite piece because it was the first piece that brought me into the poetry scene. So yeah, here it goes. Superiority complex. Complexity in the sense of being superior in the context. Object. To objectify or misinterpret or rectify with the passing notes of the concept. It's context. To contextualize the nonsense. A content. The same feeling is being misled, and the only way to make someone superior is to make them complex. The only way is to right your wrongs is to confess. Fess up, I'm fed up of playing these petty games, and when you lose, I take the blame. This is the same shame our women have to take from the approaching aim of a marksman's bow. Reality check, checkmate. To see you lose, stay checkmates. Sweet mate, dropping sweet and sour sauce from a Timberland tree. Dropping like fruits, only little youths puss inside the boots. Only on the roads to make their mothers happy, but that's a contradiction. You listen to my stories like I'm telling fiction, but that's another extradition in my extradition of my exhibition of what it's like to be another child of the light. These kids are rushing too fast like rabbits, but we were taught this, to win and to walk like the tortoise. How sick you must be to think, how can I extort this? Extortion, to exhume one of their assets or value. Abortion, to exhume the reincarnation of life in which it was chosen. Mind over matter, in a sense, if you mind your business, these things won't matter. It's the beginning and the ending of the world. Two counterparts of the same zone losing hope in each other so they eventually lose their throne. I guess they won the game. Checkmate. Those girls are what you want, but she is what you need. You have been so consumed by the idea of consumption, they have been swallowed by the throat of life, excreted out into the soil, and you still don't feel the term oil. It's turmoil. Stolen land and crude oil. Confused man of his enemy, and he shall fight his brother. Two men, now true boys, fight to the death, and a stranger shall inherit his property. Probably, the same way that Proverbs be. Truth be told, I do not expect an apology, you uncultured swine. Always complaining when someone tells you why they don't drink wine, because they are spiritually high like all the time. But I guess I can't blame you, because every time I tell you about this, you say I have a superiority complex. Thank you.
Pew, 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 pew.
Every time you get to that point where you say, you uncultured swine, oh, there's just something so satisfying about that line. You know, I love that poem. How are you? How's lockdown been treating you?
I was told by a broken pen the other day that I ate myself and I've grown bigger from it. So I ate myself and I'm bigger. So that's actually how I feel, to be honest.
Wait. Why is pen so childish though? Man told you ate yourself.
It's a good thing though.
Bigger.
It's a good thing though.
Yeah, okay. It was like that was a romantic compliment, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I hear you. And like a top tip for finding something good in lockdown. Like, what is there good that can be found during this period from your point of view?
To not sound so mystic, I'd say yourself. Get to find yourself over and over again, because it seems as though days are repeating, but they're not. You know, you have to find the change in the weather for yourself. You know, so like finding yourself is the best kind of medicine, to be honest. So yeah, that's the best thing out of quarantine for me.
Ugh, you're so wise, man. Thank you for sharing your poetry and your wisdom. We're going to continue on with somebody that I know that you're currently working with at the moment. So I'm going to introduce our next poet. Thanks again, and do stay with us. Okay, guys, our next poet single-handedly changed my opinion on social media influencers. That's right, I said it. This is an influencer that I not only like, but I follow, and I rate her highly. She's funny, she's honest, and she told me recently that everything changed for her when she decided to just be unapologetically herself, and that she is not only a talented writer, but an incredible artist as well. I do want to say, guys, that every single poet that you're seeing now, you can find their profile, information, social media details, and links to further work on our social media. So if you're not already following either Mind Over Matter LDN on Instagram or Facebook, or Poetry Prescribed, then make sure you do, and you can get more of the work from these guys. But anyway, our next poet is Chloe Carter with 2 R's. Please make her feel welcome.
Okay. Oh, hi everyone. Hello.
Hello.
Chloe, unmute yourself, your end.
Hello.
That's it. That's it. You're good.
Okay, good. Thank you. Hi guys, my name is Chloe Carter with 2 R's. Today's poem is going to be called On Being Myself. I'm awkwardly shy sometimes. I make up for the quietness when I sleep. Talk like this one time I was caught ordering my favorite meal, a double beef burger, no onions, just ketchup and cheese is probably my favorite word. I smile so much so my cheeks actually hurt. I love being in front of the camera. I still scream cheese even though I'm lactose intolerant. I like my Sundays on a Wednesday. Haagen-Dazs strawberry cheesecake come my way because I'll tolerate anything for you. Then came a time when I was mature enough to understand that the best moments aren't always captured by the camera. So my focus is to angle myself so shots aren't the only thing that I shoot. I'm always aiming for my goals. I'm a Capricorn. So you know how it goes. I'm a Capricorn. So you know I'm the goal I've been told. I'm a good friend, but you can't always get a hold of me. I keep my phone almost always on D&D. So if I air you, breathe it in and bear with me. My most expensive purchase is spending a lot of my time being late. I think it's because I want to take advantage of the fact that I'm still alive and guided by the Most High and guided by the divine. I've convinced myself that I'm not actually late. The illusion is time. I haven't really dated much in my life. I've only had one serious relationship. We had the deepest connection. I mean, like the strongest connection. And that was with my Wi-Fi. If you ask me where I'm from, I'll probably tell you heaven or somewhere in the sky. You know, there's angels on earth. That's why I always look so fly. If you ask me where I'm from, I'll tell you I'm half Jamaican and half Ghanaian. It's insane. I always find myself picking and choosing whether to say plantain or plantain. I've got my heart in the game. I'm Chloe Carter and there's art in my name. Can't draw any comparisons because we're hardly the same. I only compete with the rain. I need to know who's got the most drip. My life is a backwards script. I write the endings of my poems before I know how they begin. I draw upside down. Poetry is a vessel that lets my words flow out, but this is what the confusion's about. Whenever I look into the mirror, I wonder if I'm looking at myself or looking for myself, because I'm not always a reflection of who I want to be. I speak in metaphors. Poetry is my native tongue. Each conversation is decorated with sarcasm and signed with a smile. Hey, I'm Chloe Carter with 2 R's. And why don't you stay for a while? Thank you.
Woo. Woo. Hey. Hey.
Chloe Carter does not come to play. Oh my God. There's too many quotables. This happens every time you perform something, but you see the whole scheme about your heritage and you don't know whether to say plantain or plantain. Oh, just so many little gems in there that I enjoyed. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Before I let you go, I want to know how you are occupying your time with this newfound restriction that we've got.
Oh my days. Okay, I don't even know the day just goes. Like the days actually just go. But especially because since I finished uni, I literally don't know what to do. I have so much time on my hands. So I try to I'm not gonna lie, I have this whole schedule in my head, but it never goes that way. I just do whatever I want, and that's what I love about quarantine. It's that you can wake up and like pick anything to do. So like either sometimes I meditate, sometimes I listen to poetry on YouTube and I'm like in lives. But oh yeah, and take pictures. I like taking pictures. But like
So your
I take
advice to the people
pictures,
then
but
is go with the flow.
yeah.
Oh, you're frozen.
Yeah, like literally, this is the one time where we don't need. Oh,
No, I
hello?
got you back. You're back now. Don't worry.
Oh, this is the one. Oh, okay. This is the one time where we don't have a schedule, a plan of the day. So just do whatever you want, really. And that's how
Yeah.
life's supposed to be, really. Actually, yeah.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, tell that to my 7-year-old twins.
I can see them outside.
I mean, I told them just appreciate my backdrop while I'm there and don't cause too much chaos. But, the youth are the truth, as they told me today, and they will do what they like. Thank you very much again for joining us and just gracing us with your presence, man. Incredible poetry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, next. So I started on the poetry scene, I don't know if it's 4 or 5 years ago now, but the first ever place, the first ever spot that I went to hit an open mic was the Chocolate Poetry Club. And I eventually ended up becoming a resident poet there. And it's now one of the events that I host ordinarily. And another resident of the Chocolate Poetry Club that I met in the early days of poetry was this amazing poet, young Nigerian, who was studying poetry. I think this was the master's. I think he has a master's in poetry. I'm not sure the PhD has been achieved yet. He has an incredible book out and available via Bad Betty Press called As Yet I Live. I'm sure he'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm very excited to be able to introduce to you Rikiya Fatigue.
Hello, bonjour. Cool, sick. Thank you very much, Steve. Much appreciated. The pamphlet is called While I Yet Live. This poem that I'm about to read is called R.I.P., as in rest in peace. There you go, telling me what to do still, like I ain't been here 722 90 years listening. I washed my ass, took my vitamin D. I voted because I was supposed to. I phoned my mum twice a week, bought my man outside the station hot drinks. I listened, deleted social media, turned off the TV, verified my data from 2 independent sources. I didn't just read the headline. I didn't tell him that you had a husband. I didn't tell him that I was your husband, that we had 3 kids. Adam looked just like you. Lola was the smart one. I washed my dishes as soon as I didn't hoard dirty mugs in my room. I didn't cross the picket line, didn't walk under ladders. I texted you when I got home. I supported independent bookshops, dealers, the youth. I drank 14 units of alcohol a week, 8 glasses of water a day, 1 glass of warm milk before bed, no more, no less. I didn't expect you to say it back. I just said it because I meant it at the time. Honestly, I'm okay. I unlearned, I healed. Now I'm 6 feet, 1.82 meters, 2 yards deep, and you still want me to listen. Rest in peace, you say. What if I want to mash up the below? Please let me do. Leave me, please, alone. Leave me, please, leave. Cheers.
There's a style to your poetry. There's a way in which you craft and deliver that is just 100% uniquely yours. I don't think I'm yet to hear anyone like that. So thank you for sharing. Tell me about lockdown. Like, we haven't really spoken that much. Where did he go? Are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, tell me about your lockdown experience, because we haven't really had much chance to catch up. Both of us leave the group chat that we're in on mute, really, which
Yes.
I know is bad. It gets a bit much, isn't it?
Lockdown. I have been staying with my sister in Kent, and for me personally, I've just done a lot of reading, a lot of writing. It has been good to have some time to just, close all the tabs that you've got open on your laptop that you've been meaning to close for ages, etc.
So you've just been chilling in Kent.
I've been chilling, got my Budweiser, got my Pinot Noir, living la vida loca.
Love it. And just before we go, our next artist is also a Roundhouse resident. I know you don't always plug, but tell people where they can get the book and what they can expect and where they can find more from you, because you never plug on your own social media.
The book is called While I Yet Live. You can get it through Bad Betty Press. You'll find in it poems by myself.
Awesome. Okay, thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you post lockdown.
Likewise.
Okay, take care. Okay, so I mentioned the Roundhouse. Our next poet is also a resident artist there, incredible writer, very successful slam champion. I don't even know what I can say. Every time I see this woman on stage, my jaw drops and I'm totally spellbound. So let's just get her on. Please welcome Rikiya Fatigue.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today. It's so great to be here. And literally, I could listen to Boyega all day, so it's great to listen to all the poets today. I'm gonna read a poem called Deleted. I will not be deleted. No matter how strong your hate or how intense your jealousy, I don't have time for flaming, no energy for enemies. Me and my tribe are more than pixels. Our beauty is too big for your screen. We're high defined, heart sublime, original warrior queens. We make swords out of eyeliner wings, slay every hate word in the DMs. We fuel up on positive things. Rumors turn to dust when we see them. We take the ink from insults and use it as mascara. We take bad days and bad vibes that think that they can scar us to make something new, to make something healing. It's with love and with honesty that words find their meaning. Comments can't keep me down when my future is gleaming and my heart is full of colors. I'm authentic and free, and I will never be ashamed to be me. Thank you.
Pew, 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 pew,
Big up.
pew.
Can I just clarify? Oh, I'm not unmute. Good. Can I clarify? What is the line about the eyeliner?
We make swords out of eyeliner wings and slay every hate word in the DMs.
It just tickles me. I've heard it before, but just every time I hear that, I'm like, go on. That's a real, such an empowering piece. And a lot of the stuff that you write is incredibly empowering for everyone, but especially for women and for who I like to call global majority women. So I really appreciate the work that you do. How are you continuing your work? How was lockdown? Because I know you had big plans for the summer and you have a play and stuff, right? So how have you found lockdown creatively?
Yeah, it's been weird, but I think I've been grateful for this time as well to just take space with the play and with like projects I'm working on to kind of like give it time to marinate and time to change, and yeah, just giving that space to it. But yeah, I've been keeping busy. Like Dee, I've been doing workshops and then leading workshops as well. So just, yeah, carrying on interacting and sharing work with others, writing new stuff.
Well, I am looking forward to, I was happy when I heard that the play is going to be running again, because I think I was out of the country when it was on last and I was gutted. So I look forward to lockdown being lifted and for everyone to be able to check that out, including myself. So do follow us to find more information. But thank you very much for gracing us with your presence. We really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome. We are at the halfway point. Our next poet is also a member of the Flow Poet Collective. He's not even a poet. He's what I like to refer to as a word alchemist, because what he does is, it's like going into a meditation, listening to this man recite. So please welcome the wonderful Solomon the Wizard to the mic.
Greetings. Can everyone hear me? Greetings in the name of the ancestors we ascend to and from. I'd just like to give thanks for everything that made this possible. Mind over matter, Miss Yankee. Love and guidance always. The piece I'm gonna do is called Call Us By Our Names. You love how I use words, change verbs to nouns. We are the constant state of movement found in whatever unit measures the love found between each syllable of our true fits. A true kiss that sparks a resurgence of magic from eons beyond the conception of our frame. Our names etched into the grimoires of ancient dreamers, seers floating on the cusp of us in our happily ever after, watching as my lips caress the sacred sounds that craft our spellbinding poetry. I know it's the cosmic calculations of numbers and signs that align the time so we synchronize when we arrive on this mortal plane. Flame of my flame, we dance to the harmonies of heat and air. Fueled by the beats of our hearts, we hear symphonies attempt to emulate the euphoria of our soul's orchestration. While united in our lover's embrace, contemplating how they can so confidently wander the drumline between inspiration and heartless appropriation, the greatest imitation of our lover's quill, feigning real love with disguises of shrill homages that comprise of words that pierce ears but provide no jewelry for the souls of those who can recall the frontiers. The pioneers of passion, those with wall-less eyes not seeing courtship as fashion, trends can never really blend the delicates and fineries with the costumes and heirlooms of finer weaves. Seen it all, from our union in the moonlit cave behind the waterfall, where the flames of our love were the only heat in these walls, to that night where we slow danced at our masquerade ball, praying for just one night that the moon wouldn't fall, typifying the earth we orbited the hall, spinning and twirling on our axis, ignoring fate's call. Call us by our names. We are love, uninhibited, undenying, unconditional, undying, enticing are the soulful sounds of the soul survivors, so full of life theirs. Songs of our souls scored into lovers' rock, steady medleys of the notes we shared, snared in the reeds adorned at the peak. A wreath in honor of our memory, our melody echoes on the breeze, so to speak. So to speak of our love as anything but enchanting, while chanting our name pains the wind, for it sings of us with every whistle and rustle, as the trees' leaves shuffle to the bass and treble of our duet. Never forget, even when the drums signal our arrival on Zion's shores, know that we are love, and we exist forevermore. Thank you.
Pew, 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 pew. Pew, pew, pew.
Wow, absolutely mind-blowing every time. And you know what's interesting? Before we got onto this, live, in the virtual green room that we have, someone was like, because this is young minds matter. And a lot of people just assume that Solomon the Wizard is, I don't know, like 245 years old because he's so wise. But you are a young poet, and congratulations, also a young father. Tell us about life in lockdown as a new dad. How are you finding it? What's it like?
I wouldn't want it any other way, because right now it gives me a chance to just be with her and us to be with her and just settle into the space without, for want of a better word, the onslaught of people that would try and arrive, because I don't want to have to tell people to go away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And so, I mean, when your daughter radiates so much beautiful energy, everyone is going to want to visit. So you get a baby moon, an extended baby moon, which is, yeah. I'm happy for you. And I'm really happy that you still found time to come and join us and bless us with your poetry, because I know people have been missing you. You've been too busy to be popping up on all the lives. So I really appreciate you making the time to come and share with us.
Yes, of course, love always.
Thank you. Okay, guys, our next poet. Oh, I last worked with her on a project for the Tower of London, which actually Solomon the Wizard was on as well. And she was tasked with writing a poem about a knight. And oh my gosh, did she just absolutely kill it. Possibly one of the best poems of that project. A talented photographer, all-round creative, artist, writer, poet, who is famous within her collective for murdering every poem with a killer first line. That's one thing that she's taught me. Don't start a poem with a line unless it's a Valor line. That's right, people. We have Flow Poet Valor. Please make her welcome.
Bala, 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 bala.
I think I might be on mute. Hello? 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 Am I?
You're good. You're good. You're right. We can hear you.
Where am I?
Go. You're good. You're good.
So wait, can I be seen then?
Bala, can you hear us? You're good to go.
Oh, okay, cool, cool. Sorry, my apologies. Don't know what's going on here. I feel like an old person trying to use technology. This is called apathy. I beg myself not to get bored, and fuck, I told myself I'd never beg. Does letting go apply when it's yourself? Do I read a different affirmation instead? No time now, though. It's late. Already turned a mistake into a mess. Wow, wonder if my consciousness will wake up now. She always deals with these things the best. She says, there's no room for pity. Your purpose isn't staying in bed. She says, I'm a star in a solar system. I say, I'll believe that even beyond death, because what is apathy worth? Nothing, really. A bit of contrast to a passionate feeling. Not somewhere I like staying. When I feel dead inside, I put myself aside and taught my mind dissociating. I come back, expect things to be different, but there's no progress when you're always escaping the next you. Picking. What should I care about now? Falling, my eyes are closed and I'm bound to the constellations of a landmine. Shouldn't have mistook collisions for alignment. Sorry, I'm a better me than this sometimes. I just need a slap in the right direction. A pat in the back from a cat in a hat telling me having fun is a decision, so why do I still do fuck shit to feel alive? I don't remember the last time I cried. But I bet I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have. I bet I thought it was a bad thing to feel. I bet I moved on and washed my hands dry, too quick to analyze and learn from the guilt. So why dissect my life like I'm the tumor cutting health out? Built to last like a diamond in the rough, I'll protect the bigger picture and forget I hold the paintbrush, filing down my spark just to write about the stardust, keep the story going. The first film was the best. Sequel after sequel, oh Valor, just put it to rest. There's nothing here for you now. This is the ending of the end. Squeeze dry every lesson, every warning, every test till nothing's left but tomorrow. A new dawn that doesn't exist yet. Forever rising to fall, oh so cool, just don't get bored, Valor. I beg.
La, 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 la.
Pew, 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 pew,
Every time, brother, every time.
pew.
What can I say? Every time. And you know what? Is this the first live that you've done?
Yeah, I've been a hermit, so yeah.
So we managed to get you out of your shell.
Only for you,
enjoying.
Stacey, honestly, only for you.
You absolutely killed it. So tell us why you've been avoiding lives then, and how are you, because a lot of people are obviously using online to stay connected. How are you staying connected away from, you know, the World Wide Web?
Well, to be fair, I feel like being inside, like my outlook on the world has got bigger in another sense. Like I feel like I'm doing things now that isn't what I was doing before. Like now my world is bigger than just poetry. Do you know what I mean? Like just from being inside, my internal world has got so much bigger. I'm doing just other things, to be fair. Like, yeah, and just not like I'm active, but in my own space. Do you know what I mean? I'm not so much online. I'm still social, but to people I want to be social with, to be fair, you know.
And what can we expect from Valor? I don't like saying when things are back to normal, because I don't, A, what is normal, and B, I don't think we're ever going back to what it was.
I think.
But where are you going with your craft? Like, what do you want to do moving forward?
Well, I guess moving forward in the terms we're talking about is just when do you return to the internet, to be fair. So I would say I have a lot planned for Instagram, to be fair, like a lot of videos that isn't just poetry, just a lot of stuff, but just timing, really. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't feel in a rush to do anything at all. Like I know what I'm doing, those kind of vibes, you know.
So we can expect more content.
Yeah, different content, hopefully.
And just
like,
a whole new vibe.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Keep watching, guys. Make sure you follow us. You can find details as to where you can find Valor online and some more of her work and a bit more about her. Thank you, Valor, for coming out of your shell for us.
No, it's fine, man.
We are moving on, but I'm not sure whether or not we have the next poet in the green room. So I'm gonna try and
He's in.
He is here. Oh, fantastic. So one of the things that lockdown has stopped me from doing is traveling. Those of you that know me know that I like to travel with my poetry, and I had planned to be in New York at the end of July for a chunk of the summer. Last year, when YA Poet and I went to New York, we met an incredible poet from Brooklyn who just hosted us so well, hooked us up with really good open mic nights, shared his work with us, took us to an awesome club, was just a great host, and we stayed in contact. His writing is, well, you're going to see for yourselves. I would like to welcome, all the way from New York City, Sir Charles the Poet.
Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Charles Joseph, Sir Charles the Poet, and thank you very much, Miss Yankee, for this warm, wonderful welcome. And I'm gonna share with you guys a poem that is very dear to my heart. This is called Somewhere Else. In a world where drugs are the wave and we are sex objects, mother can only pray that her child does not get swayed by the wind. But mom, I'm gone. I've been a ghost, lost in the smoke, seeking, leaking feelings since the moment I stepped out of that house alone. The wind blew me west, then rushed home somewhere else. So maybe I have been searching into holes that rubber restrains babies from climbing out of, into holes that biology restrains babies from falling out of. This abyss in the child's soul seems to be a definite place each time these drugs and licks dismiss them into a place called else. We're lost. And the way this endless black hole reflects in your eyes mother, shows us that you know that too. Home is a place in the distant, but each time these feelings erupt from a satisfied craving, somewhere else feels near. Thank you.
That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. I wanted to ask you, because obviously I'm in London, we're in a city as well, but New York, Brooklyn in particular, is very different, like layout wise and how things are working. So how is lockdown for a young person in New York City right now? So Charles, are you there? Oh, I think he's left us. Let me see whether he's still here.
Hi.
Are you back? Did you hear my question?
Yes, I did. I'm not allowed to unmute myself. Whoever is hosting this.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So I was like speaking. Oh, I can't. I'm muted.
But you got the question right. Life in NYC on lockdown for young people specifically. How is it?
It's definitely tough. Definitely tough. And I'm in touch with the New York City creative community, and we're doing our best to be as creative as we can within our homes, but not being able to go out as we please or go do things we normally do from a day-to-day basis is very hard. Some people are getting together and going to the park, for example, and keeping some social distancing as they can do it best, but it's definitely tough. It's definitely tough. Yeah, it's not easy, but we all or like have to stay strong and push through for the betterment of just everybody else in the world.
And we can only hope that things run a little smoother soon, because I'm sure you're overdue a trip to London.
Oh yeah. yes. I'm definitely there. 2 years or one next year. One of them. I'll be there, Miss Yankee. You'll see me.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks again for joining us, and I'm sure we'll speak soon.
Of course. So,
thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Our next artist is going to bring some hip hop to the stage. I met him at BBC Radio London. Fisky and I went and ran a workshop together for, I think it was the Mental Health Awareness Week, around a year ago, actually. And this rapper come into my poetry workshop and explained to me that he had a stammer and usually wrote bars, didn't write poetry, but would give it a go. And I'm like, just chill, give it a go, see what comes out. And oh my gosh. I just remember Fisky looking at me like, what the? He can write. He can write. He's very talented. He's had his work on the BBC and all over the place. I'm really excited to see what Kitch is going to bring to the show. So please make Kitch feel welcome.
Hi everyone. So as Miss Yankee explained briefly, I've got a star. So I feel like I'm gonna do a song which explains it. I wrote it, I think, almost 3 years ago now. So it's not the best piece of work I've got, but it means a lot to me. So it's called Miracle, and it's on YouTube, Spotify, everything. So if you like it, please do check it out. Let's go. Hey yo, it's Kitch. Growing up, I didn't think like the average kid. My pride was getting beat up, bruised, battered to bits. I didn't understand the reason why I couldn't talk properly. No one knew how to fix it. What the hell is wrong with me? I was quiet in class, cause like a riot would start. It annoyed me, so I'd always wear my defiant mask. I knew the other kids would always laugh and mention my stammer whenever I got asked a question. At first I struggled, there was a lot to deal with, and my anxiety would always make me feel sick. Everywhere I go, I was scared to open my mouth. I couldn't help myself, I would get frozen in doubts. Think about everyday situations I'd make you sit and wait on till I finally finished my sentence. My stammer was the only thing that I wished to change. I didn't know what it was, so myself I blamed. What a miracle. What a miracle. What a miracle. It's like an angry kid who let my doubt get into me. All my thoughts building up, I needed an outlet instantly. Heard Eminem and I was like, yo, what's this? I learned every lyric to every song, man, not one missed. Soon clocked I didn't stammer when I rapped along. And my love for hip hop, well, that's where that begun. I was intrigued by the way they rhymed and spoke their mind. I was surprised they gave me hope when I was blind. A few years go by and my knowledge had expanded. Tupac, Big Nas, Big L, and Method Man is just some of the names I would always listen to when I was feeling down or lonely just to get me through. I started writing lyrics about how I was feeling, but I couldn't flow a rhyme, yo, you wouldn't believe it. So I kept quiet and I done my research, hoping one day through rap I could finally be heard. Who would have thought? Not me. Hey, yo. But nowadays I get 6 hours sleep if I'm lucky. That's when my sick powers peak, you can't touch me. I'll let this prick coward speak, but now not above me. The way that I devour speech is lovely, especially for a kid who stutters, but I ain't an excuse anymore. Me against you, my rhymes let loose many more. I'm a definition of a setback, I'm the outcome of Porky Pig rapped, so it's quite embarrassing if you get smacked. This is called hard work and dedication. I won't forget, I got hard words for hesitation. I swear rap saved my life and I wrote my way out of every situation when I couldn't say nought. I think it's got that I still stammer till this day, but still my flow remains sharp like a switchblade. I went from stammering to rapping, now I'm holding my own steering wheel, driving my career. Tell me that ain't no miracle. What a miracle. What a miracle. It's not about the journey, it's the outcome that matters.
The levels are very high. Such a powerful piece and such an inspiring piece as well. And an apt title. I think it cut out as you introduced it, so we didn't get to hear the title, but I'm guessing it's Miracles, right?
Yeah, miracle.
Yeah, it was perfect. So before I let you go, I just want to know, what advice would you give to anyone else that's kind of in lockdown and doesn't necessarily have a way to express or create or kind of access to being online? Like, what about those people that don't have that luxury of being online? What one thing can people do to connect?
To connect. If you're struggling to express yourself, you now have the time to experiment, see what works for you. Rapping works for me. It might not work for the next person.
Yeah.
I had to try for months until I actually got it locked down. Do you know what I mean? Years even, sorry.
Yeah.
So, yes, so just follow your passion do what you want to do. I'm sure it'll work in the end.
Yeah, and then that consistency, that commitment to
course.
craft as well. But that's a great tip. Experiment and then consistency and focus. Thank you so much for sharing and for joining us and sharing your thoughts
pleasure.
as well. I hope to see you soon after lockdown, yeah?
Of course.
Take care. So we were due to have another 2 poets on the lineup, but due to technical problems, Kismet, who was our penultimate poem, is unable to join us and get on stage. But I just wanted to at least shout her out and talk about this young creative, because she truly is a remarkable young woman. She works as a peer outreach worker for London's City Council at Town Hall. She's done all kinds of mayoral work. She manages a project with young 7 to 15-year-olds. She's a real advocate for young people and was a big part of the original launch for Young Minds Matter. So I guess she'll have to come and feature at another Mind Over Matter show, because we're going to have to get her on. Her voice really does need to be heard. Her name is Kismet, and you will find more information about her on our page. So that now, without her, brings us to our final act of the evening. A young poet from Birmingham who I met at Chocolate Poetry Club when he came down to London and just shelled the whole place down, won the audience favourite, was due to headline, and I was looking forward to getting a feature set from him, and then lockdown came. So I'm really excited to have him with us and to have him close the show. He's a published author, writer, performer. Please welcome Ryan Sinclair to the stage.
Come on.
Hi, can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Can you hear me? Oh. All right. I wrote this piece literally in the last 48 hours, but yeah, I'll just get into it. There's no name, but here we go. Seeing as it's mental health awareness, growing up in my home, me and my mother shared experiences. I wish someone had prepared us. As a kid, I was never careless, but as I grew up and saw things, I cared less. You know, seeing my brother in a hospital bed with a bare chest with bullet holes in him made me close and timid till I found poetry. It was like golden syrup because it sweetened my soul and didn't leave me exposed to villains because I was squeezing my lead. I ain't talking about no chrome, just listen. Because if I didn't have this, I'd have taken my life with no co-defendant. I know many other creatives who need a similar outlet. This is a penny for my thoughts. I'm just trying to make a pound stretch. But if you got passion for something, you should lay a brick every day and then house it. What I mean by that is put the hard work in and lay the foundations around it. Look, this is important for my mental health. You could have £100 million and never ascend to wealth. If your mind is mentally down, it's okay to send for help. I can't even lie. I went to the doctor to try and mend myself. No jazz, but I came up in the city of blues. Corona aside, I'm really sick of the news because they'll post any headline. They're fishing for views. I'm trying to pre-run you, but remember, a lie can never exist in the truth. I was a victim at youth. I got robbed as a teenager. It made me want to hit pricks with a tool, but I couldn't. So I started doing shit with some fools. Got arrested. I had to start listening to rules. Got off lightly, but the experience came back to bite me because if I want to go to the US, I need to get an Esther just for a flight. But anyway, I decided to go to university. Didn't want to face incarceration. Like my brother, it was hard to take it when I was 10 years old, going on prison visits. He smiled when we arrived. Couldn't imagine the pain behind it, but my expressions, I never hid it because I wanted my brother home and safe. And when we got home, we knew the house phone could go off at any minute for any reason. I know that tested his mental health because when he got out, I could feel it. But back to the student life. I wasn't used to life outside my city, so I started using ice as a partner to get me through the night. While I was secluded, I turned to other vices in the search for something to soothe my mind. Yeah, we're raising awareness tonight. It's truthful time. Trapped in my own brain, I felt like I was doing time. Who defines good mental health? Is it you, your GP, your family, your TV? It can be misleading, but you don't have to be perfect to stand in achievement. My mental health was rooted in addiction and confliction, but deep inside, I knew through my persistence, I was a victim. I'll pause my personal story there because it's important for young people to be all aware that the moment you can find something that's good for your mental, you can beat things easier. It can be instrumental. I'm one of 4 and uncle to 6. So it's important what message we send to the kids. Being around them gives me strength just to live. I'm gonna end it with this. Don't underestimate the power of your mind or your art. Because for me, there's only a handful of things that can take our minds from the dark. Thank you.
Pew, 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 pew. Pew, pew.
Whew.
Pew, pew, pew.
What a perfect way to end the show. You said, don't underestimate the power. What was the last line? Don't underestimate the power of your creativity and your art. Tell me that last line.
Let me get it off. Don't underestimate the power of your mind or your art.
Your mind or your art. Thank you so much. And for sharing something so fresh and so new as well. We really appreciate that. That was incredible.
Thank you.
Closing words and thoughts on moving forward, staying creative and staying connected during lockdown.
For myself, I've just been trying to connect with as many people online, locally, other cities, other countries. I'm just trying to get onto all the lives, just to keep the momentum going, especially in these times where it's easy to slip into, negative states of mind with so many restrictions, and we can't do certain things that we want to do to, give us escapism. But it's kind of pushed me further into art, and I'm enjoying it, to be fair, because it's making the days a lot easier. So yeah.
Good. Well, thanks again. That brings us to the end of the show, guys. Thank you to all of our incredible creatives. I hope you agree that that was a lineup and a half. Like the poetry was incredible. Kitsch with that track was just beautiful. It is Mental Health Awareness Week, guys, and the theme is kindness. And it's easy to just be nice. Just be good to people. Check in on your friends. Ask them how they are. If you see something that is going to make someone smile or make someone happy, share it. I don't care if it's a meme or a gift, but do something this week that is just going to put a smile on someone's face. Kindness goes a long way. A couple of things before we sign off. Tomorrow night, I am hosting Black Love Stories on @BMT Stories. We've had Ryan on the show before. Tomorrow, our theme is love and war, and we are featuring Mind Over Matter resident Bexy Bex and Nate the lyricist. So it's going to be serious, and I'm going to be running a 6-minute free write. So if you want to come and create, come and create. And the last thing to say is please subscribe. If you're not already subscribing to us on YouTube, then please support us, because once we get to 1,000 followers, we can start to monetize this stuff and use that money to pump it back into our community, which is what we're about. And follow Mind Over Matter LDN to keep up to date with our weekly workshops, our Q&As, our open mics, and Poetry Prescribed. We'll be making a very special announcement impending to our new online service. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you to all my poets. Thank you to Fisky for dealing with the tech and being so patient with me, and the whole team and everyone that makes Mind Over Matter happen. I've been Miss Yankee. Good night.